And I'm just quickly checking. Fun fact, this is the very first time Yanji has ever made it to the grand finals of Sentimiento Latino. My god. But we'll find out who is going to meet him there, because spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the purple Zerg player himself, hailing from the land of Peru and representing one of the best teams in the world, representing the CranKy Ducklings, one of our very own. It is Ryu, the best Zerg player in all of Peru. And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the best Protoss player in all of Brazil, representing Amantes de StarCraft. Some know him as Rapunzel, but he is MasTeR. Oof. Oh my god, and yes, predictions are open in the chat. Place your bets, people. Who is going to make it to the grand finals? Is it going to be the best Zerg in Peru or the best Protoss in Brazil? It's up to you to decide. You know where my heart lies, you know? I'm a little bit biased, you know? One of our boys, one of our Ducklings is competing here, the Street Fighter himself, El Condor, Ryu. But MasTeR is a terrifying opponent, a terrifying opponent. He has beaten Ryu in the past. Fun fact, they have gone very back and forth in series. You know, one week Ryu wins, another week MasTeR wins, another week Ryu wins, another week MasTeR wins. So it's going to be really hard to call. I wouldn't be surprised if this series goes all the way to the ace match. Oh boy. Well, yeah, we shall see. Again, if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, !B in the chat to have a look at the run of all of our players. We've had a lot of upsets today, a lot of really surprising results. This, not so surprising. Like, looking at the bracket, I expected Ryu and MasTeR to make it to the semis, and here they are. Not the easiest road to get here, but they did make it in the end. And we'll see what the plan is for MasTeR, because they have a very interesting dynamic, these two players. Ryu is a master of the late game, of ZvP, going up against Skytoss, going into his, like, either Hydra Lurker Viper or Corruptor Viper Infestor. Like, Ryu is amazing in the late game if he gets there. But getting there is the problem. Ryu, I've seen him struggle a lot against either Glaive Adept timings or Blink Stalker follow-ups, Immortal pushes. Like, in the mid-game, it feels as if that is where Ryu is at his weakest. So if you can stop Ryu from getting into his macro, getting into his, like, 4-base economy, then you're going to be in a great spot. We'll see if MasTeR can do that as he opens up with a Stargate in his main base. But with our Overlord timing, Ryu, he's going to get in, and he is going to see everything. The Stargate has been scouted, the Oracle first has been scouted as well, so now Ryu is going to prepare and be ready with his spores. As the Overlord does finally go down in the main base, first Oracle is on the way, and what's important is that just because we saw a Stargate opener doesn't mean you have to commit to Stargate, as we see a second Oracle on the way. So this looks to be a triple Oracle opener. You have 2 Oracles to attack and be aggressive across the map, and you have a third Oracle to defend your third base and to get it up and running. There are variants of this where you get a double Oracle into a Void Ray, which will help out as well. But because you're doing this, there's that triple Oracle, by the way. Because we're doing this, we shouldn't be seeing Skytoss. We should see a Twilight Council follow-up from here. As 2 Oracles are going across the map. Again, the reason why we have 2 is because 2 Oracles one-shot workers. Doesn't matter if you have a Spore, doesn't matter if you have Queens, damage can still be done. Meanwhile, they do get spotted by these Queens, and ooh, already a lot of damage being done to one of those Oracles, taking a little bit of hull damage. So a little bit of unfortunate pathing for these Oracles. And we'll see if they can get other things done here. We have a couple of Adepts, we have our third Oracle in the mix as well. Ryu isn't applying any pressure. MasTeR knows his third is safe, so he just brings everything together here. And with 3 Adepts and 3 Oracles, you can focus down some Queens. Meanwhile, here we go. He commits to the shade. We do see the oracles trying to focus down as many drones as possible, but the spore and the rest of the lings and the queens are just a little bit too much. Ryu was, for the most part, in position, and MasTeR doesn't really get anything done, but he saves every single one of his units. Oh, but he commits to the shade. I wasn't expecting that, but he's dealing a surprising amount of damage. 5 drones? 6 drones? 5 drones? Honestly, not bad. Really punishing the greed of Ryu. Ryu made the minimal amount of lings to defend, so because of that, he couldn't really keep up with the shade and deal with those adepts. So, nice damage, all things considered. Especially because the oracles are still alive and they were able to regenerate all that energy. So now they're coming back in, they dive in. Ooh, queens are not where they need to be. A couple more drones are going down, one after the other. 5, 6 drones in total, on top of the 5 drones from earlier. So 11 workers going down here due to this aggression. MasTeR doing a great job, and now here comes that ground toss transition. +1 is on the way. Blink as well. We should be seeing some immortals once we get our robot up and running, but you know what? Ryu isn't missing a beat. He gets in with his overseer. He confirms everything. He knows that he needs one thing and one thing only: roaches. As we have +1 range on the way, we even have Burrow, and I love this. So Ryu is going to commit even harder to roaches. After Glad Reconstitution, we should be seeing, after roach speed, essentially, we should be seeing Tunneling Claws, we should be seeing Burrow movement for these roaches, and oh my god, he's even taking up into Hydras. I think this is a little bit greedy, to be honest. It makes sense if you are looking towards a later game, and I think Ryu, he just scouted the 4th base, so he believes that his opponent wants to go, again, into a later game, wants to go into the late game with ground toss. So going into Hydras and going to Lurkers will work, but before that, you're a little bit vulnerable. Meanwhile, there we go. Tunneling Claws is on the way. More roaches are being pumped out. Ryu needs nothing but army right now. Otherwise, these Blink Stalkers are just going to run away with it. There we go. Stalkers are going to be pushing into creep. There wasn't a lot of foresight here to this army, but the Roach Ravager looks to be just barely enough with the help of these queens. At the same time, oracles are coming in as well, focusing down the queens. Just barely wasn't enough. Ryu just deflects this army. And what's important about this is that now that the army has been deflected, for the first wave at least, Ryu, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes, yeah, straight into an infestation pit or straight into a lurker den. As we see some Hydra upgrades on the way. I respect that Ryu isn't, again, he isn't taking too quickly into lurkers, but like the tech is there if he wants it. Right now, he's a lot more concerned and focused with these stalkers and with his roach aggression. Because you know what? Burrow is done, and Tunneling Claws is about to finish up as well. Meanwhile, the Stalker army is going to rock up towards this 4th base. A little bit undefended, but okay, the rest of the army wasn't too far away. It looks like with the help of the Spine Crawler and all these Roaches and Ravagers, it should be enough, maybe? Yeah, with the reinforcements. Ooh, and even some files landing at the same time. Ryu is going for a massive counterattack. There's a reason why this fight looks so dicey, and that's because a lot of the supply for Ryu isn't here, it's across the map. Yo, and it's sneaking into the natural and the main base. Do we have any detection? We have oracles. That's our detection right now. The robo is only just now finishing, but here we go. We see a massive zealot run by at the 3rd base. Roaches are here to defend, though. At the same time, the stalkers were deflected, and now we have roaches in every single base of MasTeR. I say every base, but in the natural and in the main base. Oh my god, so many probes are falling. 20 probes go down, and the roaches are still not cleaned up, and we still don't have detection. At the same time, we have more roaches here at the 3rd base. We do have a cannon, though, so the cannons will eventually be able to clean all this up. Meanwhile, the roaches, they just turn around. They just fight the stalkers. They don't even care. Reveal, puppy. Reveal. Oh my god, the pre-split. Oh, the revelation hits nothing. Second revelation, we'll get a couple of these roaches. At the same time, we have another roach run by here at the 4th location. But this is where the robos are, and this is where our detection is going to be. God, but Ryu is just not letting up. Behind this, Hydras are coming out. Hive is on the way as well. Lurker Den is already up. Ryu wants to throw away every single one of his roaches to get into lurkers. And so far, he's doing this beautifully. Again, there's just chaos ensuing in every single base of MasTeR, and he is really struggling to keep up roaches in literally every single mineral line. And despite the fact that we even have some cannons, Ryu still finds a way to deal damage anyway. MasTeR is just getting pulled apart right now. And eventually, he's going to regain control of his bases, but at this point, the damage has already been done, and Ryu doesn't care about his roaches. Because here come 10 lurkers. MasTeR, he's being forced into a big counterattack, and I don't blame him. His supply isn't looking the worst, but his army is. That's the problem. We have a gateway-focused army. We do have double robo, but because the economy has been hindered, because the gas mining has been hindered as well, we don't have immortals, we don't have disruptors, we don't have any splash damage, and that's what we need. Like, Zealot Stalker is going to do nothing against Mass Lurker. Oh boy, speaking of, here we go. MasTeR's going to try and force his way in, but the lurkers are ready and waiting. We do have Blink, so obviously there's maybe an opportunity for MasTeR to dive on top of the lurkers and try and focus them down. He's going to try and rotate around and get up this ramp, but the lurkers are already here ready and waiting. MasTeR cannot find a way. No, the myth farthing! Oh. MasTeR cannot find a way in. The roaches are still dealing damage across the map. They're still not being cleaned up. Meanwhile, the move command is real. No! MasTeR falling apart here with his army control a little bit, just running into all those spines. And again, Ryu just orchestrated this entire game so well. He just forced MasTeR to dance to his music. It was crazy. And again, like, how do you deal with lurkers? Well, I mean, disruptors can help, immortals can help, Skytoss can help, but MasTeR just wasn't ready for any of it. He couldn't be ready for it. He just didn't have the economy for it. He was just losing far too many workers. His gas mining was being interrupted. He just didn't have enough. He's going to try and get a surround, and he does get a revelation on these lurkers. He's trying to get a full surround here. Maybe it's going to work, but we have Ling reinforcements, and it's just barely not enough to break him. Oof. And just like that, Ryu remaxes, and MasTeR is still struggling to come up with any kind of army. Lurkers finally do all go down, but who needs lurkers when you don't have splash damage? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're not up against Storm or Colossus, even pure Hydra can do well. Struggling a little bit. But, you know, it's still okay. It's not bad. Okay, he's losing a little bit more, actually. Not the best trade here for Ryu. Maybe overextending, but he backs off. He's remaking his lurkers, and GG gets called. Ryu takes game number 1. Oh, what a game. GG, well played. Unfortunately, MasTeR wasn't really in control of that game. Like, even though he was going for all of this tech, he was getting scouted. Like, Ryu responded to everything so well. The moment where Ryu was most vulnerable was, if you remember, when Ryu sent the majority of his roaches across the map, and he had very few units to defend his 4th base. And it was like, oh, maybe MasTeR can snowball and, like, maybe kill the 4th or get some drone damage done or something. But Ryu just barely defended, and again, the roach counterattack was insane. Absolutely insane. And with that was game number 1, and we are moving on to game number 2. What I should say is that game didn't really display the skill of MasTeR. Like, again, it was MasTeR struggling to keep up, but I do also think that was a lot because of the opener. I do think that if MasTeR adjusted and went for something a little bit more aggressive and decisive, I think that he can switch things into his favor. But again, you cannot let Ryu play out his game, because I do think that he is the better player if that happens. If you're able to disrupt Ryu's economy and disrupt his overall build, then that is when he can crumble a little bit, and that is where he shows weakness. So we'll see if we can get there. As we load into game número 2. All right, here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Peruvian Zerg player himself, living in Italy, but of course representing Peru in this tournament. Also representing the CranKy Ducklings, it is Ryu. Quack. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Brazilian Protoss player himself. He is blue, representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is MasTeR. I'm just catching up in the chat. I see the original Booger. Light an hour ago. There probably won't be any Terrans after the quarters. Yanji, hold my coffee. I like how you said hold my coffee as well, because he is underage, so he actually can't drink alcohol. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yanji offended there is no Terran plushie. Right? Exclamation mark Funada Cardboard Animations. They never released a Terran plushie. There's no SCV, there's no Marine. Because of that, like, I only have Zealots, Probes, Zerglings, Banelings. Like, I would love a Marine plushie. I would love it so much. Like a Patches or a Crackhead. Feels Crackhead, man. But yeah, it's really cool to see Yanji like popping off today and again just excelling so much and having those upsets and making it to the finals. But we're still here in the semis. We still have to find out who is going to face him there. Oof, oof. I feel like I've seen more Burrow lately, and it's very welcome. Yeah. I mean, Ryu does it quite often. Like, Ryu loves his aggression, whether it's Burrow, whether it's Dropper Lords or Niduses. Like, he loves being in the face of his of his Protoss opponents. He's very unique in that way. Very unique. He's not just a macro machine, but he can be. He can be. Also, another guy, I gave you the attention. I gave you your attention. Goddamn. As we do see a Stargate opener once again from MasTeR. I'm not opposed to this because you can do a lot with Stargate openers, but I do hope that we see a faster transition into a Twilight Council. That's the thing. His Twilight Council was very, very delayed because he went triple Oracle. A lot of gas was invested into all those Oracles. And let's be honest, those Oracles last game, did they pay for themselves? I mean, now that I think about it, they did get 11 worker kills. So I must say the Oracles did do their job, but the follow-up wasn't as strong. So yeah, we'll see if maybe MasTeR thinks the same and if he tries to go for it again. Meanwhile, Ryu was denied entry into the main base with his Lings. They were cleaned up, so very nice control there from MasTeR, just shutting them down before they got into the main. But Ryu sees the opener anyway. Sees the Stargate, sees Oracles on the way, and starts his spores immediately. So a great scout there for Ryu, and ooh, a nice adaptation from MasTeR. First Oracle is coming across the map, but as we can see, it is only going to be a single Oracle. So because of that, there's going to be less potential for drone damage, but because of the Void Ray, there's going to be more potential to keep the follow-up hidden from his opponent. The Void Ray has one job, and that is not just to kill this Overlord, but to kill every Overlord and keep Ryu in the dark. Meanwhile, the first Oracle tries to get across the map, but the Queen's are already in position. The Oracle does nothing so far, but again, it is still alive. It can rotate around, it can get more damage done, it can get some revelations off, maybe some stasis traps as well. And here we go, immediately we see a Twilight Council. So this should be for Blink. Sorry, not Blink. This should be for Glaives. We should be seeing Glaive Adepts coming out. There we go, 2 more gateways are being thrown down. We have 4 gates in total. And there's like an interesting like execution of this. So obviously there is no Robo, so there is no Warp Prism to reinforce across the map. The units that you warp in are just going to be here at home, and then you just rally them across the map instead. There we go. Glaives is on the way, and so far this has gone unscattered. So far this is all going well for MasTeR, but the Overlord is coming in. We do have Overlord speed. The Void Ray not quite in position. It's now going to rock up to focus down the Overlord, but it's a little bit too late. The Overlord sees the gateways. The Overlord, ooh, sees a Forge. doesn't see the Twilight Council. He can assume though. He saw that the Stargate wasn't building another Void Ray, so he knows there's a Twilight Council. He also saw the Forge, so he's getting a little bit of conflicting information. The Forge in +1 says either charge or blink, not so much glaives. So we'll see, we'll see. Ryu, he is walling off for the most part. He already has a roach warrant. He's already working on roaches. He knows that he has to focus on a ground army. So, I mean, that much information Ryu has. He just doesn't have the complete information. Ooh, as the Lings actually just saw this, the Adepts are coming across the map, and Ryu knows 100%. We should be seeing a drone here soon to wall off at his natural. Hopefully we do see that as the Adepts, they're coming, Ryu, and Ryu's droning up. Uh-oh. That's not good. Here we go. The Adepts try to shade into the main base, but Ryu walls off with the Evo Chamber. The Adepts will not get in. They are stuck here, only having access to the 4th base and the 3rd. Nice response so far from Ryu. Adepts are going to threaten a shade in towards that 3rd base location as they get forced back. Oh, they do not commit though. And so far the Adepts haven't been able to do anything, but they stay alive, and that's what matters. They still pose a threat. They still force Ryu to keep this drone here, to keep an eye on his minimap, and to stay vigilant. Meanwhile, +1 is about to finish up. I'm a little bit surprised we don't see charge or blink. We have 4 gases being taken. Like, we have plenty of gas production. I think this is a mistake from MasTeR. I think he forgot blink. Uh-oh. Because he is making a Stalker-based army. And there's no reason not to get blink. Meanwhile, the Adepts try to shade in again, but the wall is a wall. Forces a recall as well. Nice reaction there by Ryu, just continuing to keep this wall up and running, not allowing the Adepts in, sorry. And now we see the follow-up. Vanilla Stalkers with +1 and Sentries. Blink would have been better, but regardless, the Sentries do provide a lot of utility to this army. Force fields can be amazing, but we have Ravagers to deal with those force fields. So we'll see how this goes. It's going to be all about the force fields. You see a couple of them being thrown down, but the Roach army just dives on top of every single one of these Sentries. Ay, ay, ay. What is that? 4 or 5 of them go down at the same time. Adepts try to shade in, but once again, Ryu walls off. How does he do it? The Adepts, they're trying so hard to get damage done. Blink just now starts. Again, I feel like this was forgotten. I don't think that Blink was supposed to be this late, and because it is this late, MasTeR turns around. He doesn't stay across the map. Any kind of pushing potential is gone, and now MasTeR may just die to the counterattack. Like, not having Blink is massive. It is huge. You need Blink right now when you have nothing but Blink or nothing but Stalkers. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Ryu, he does get revealed. He's close to maxed out. He's taking up all the way into Lurkers. This is where I have to be a little bit critical. To be fair, Ryu doesn't know that his opponent doesn't have Blink. There's no visual tell for that. If he did, attacking right now is 100% the play, but because he doesn't know that, he's taking up further. He's thinking about the later game instead. I don't blame him. But he's missing a window here, and the window is closing, and MasTeR is getting away with this. He's getting away with not having Blink. Immortals are coming out. He's getting fully saturated on 4 bases. He has a pretty solid defense now. Oh god. I'm dying. But like, any kind of threat to this 4th base isn't really there anymore. I'm just taking another swig of tea. Meanwhile, yo, we heard you like borrowed roaches, so we got more borrowed roaches. We do have some cannons though in every single base, so MasTeR is kind of prepared for this move. 2 games in a row. You think you can do MasTeR dirty 2 games in a row? The answer is yes, because the cannons are going down. The cannons are getting picked off, and the roaches are getting a little bit of damage done. Ooh, shield battery goes down as well. Roaches in the main base will get cleaned up by this Immortal. At the same time, the Stalker army is pushing on forward, but the Lurkers are already here. Vipers are on the way as well. Hydra Lurker Viper is the name of the game. We do have a couple of Adepts head towards that 3rd base location, but Spines are going to make short work of that. And oh my god, these Stalkers are deep into creep. with no detection. MasTeR, you gotta get the hell out of here, buddy. We do see a couple of force fields being thrown down, and they will be able to keep the army at bay for the time being. It looks like this base is going to go down. Honestly, really nice movement here by MasTeR. Finally making use of his Blink Stalkers, finally taking down the base. Ryu, unfortunately, was zoned out completely. Even though MasTeR doesn't have detection with his army, the lurkers were just not where they needed to be. So again, the kill in that 5th base was pretty important. Ryu still has a decent economy, but not the best economy. He needs to get another base up and running. There we go. He's taking a 5th towards the bottom right-hand corner instead. Vipers are coming out though, like, oh god. 2 more robos are being thrown down. That will help. Oh, he's able to catch a couple of morphing in lurkers. 2 lurkers go down. Revelation does miss, but we now have our detection. We now have observers. And can MasTeR make this work? Ooh. Frames are dropping a little bit here, unfortunately. There's a little bit too much graphical effects on the screen. But again, pushing into lurkers is never what you want to do. And you may be thinking, yo, Ryu is really struggling right now. He can't really fight this army. Like, it's a little bit too mobile. Ooh, does get a yoink on that Immortal. Beautiful. And you may think that, but we have a Nidus on the way. As soon as he defends against this push, as soon as he doesn't need everything at home, he's going to look to Nidus across the map. Oh, blink into the main. He will end up blinking into the main base, bypassing all of these lurkers entirely. And can he get anything done here? I don't think he will. Yeah, we just have too many lurkers. Again, there is no answer. We have a Nidus into the main base. Do we have a response here? Does MasTeR see? I don't think he does. He just warped in across the map. No. I mean, Ryu is supply blocked right now. He doesn't have the best army. Not here anyway, especially because he does have that Nidus across the map. But does he have enough to hold on to his 4th base? Meanwhile, we do have a couple of lurkers in the main base, in every single base, actually. I say every base. You know, the main, the 3rd, the natural. And finally, Ryu has a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, the Stalker army backs off. We have another nice here towards the top left. 22 probes go down. How? I'm shocked by the amount of damage being done. I guess the probes here on the low ground got taken out. There were some probes in the main. And Ryu has finally broken free from his supply block. We got +3 on the way, another Nidus, and MasTER's just being pulled apart. He was actually making some magic happen with the Mass Blink Stalker, but the problem is that you can never blink into lurkers. Like, that's just never the play. Like, despite having detection, like, without Storm, without Disruptors, like, he can just never push in. Meanwhile, we have some defensive DTs. They will be able to hold the line for the time being. Blink Stalkers find their way in. They do get a couple of these lurkers. Slowly getting a decent amount of value here, but again, pushing into lurkers, it's not really going to work out. We have our Vipers as well for Blinding Clouds. MasTER does get another base up and running. His economy is still looking pretty good, despite losing so many probes earlier. It's just such a weird dynamic. We almost never see just Blink Stalker against Lurker. It's like kind of working a little bit. A little bit. The thing is that at some point Ryu's gonna counterattack and like MasTER can never fight the army is the thing. But I guess because he's so mobile, he can just keep Ryu at home. Uh-oh, but here we go. Ryu's trying to go for the surround. Does throw down a Blinding Cloud. The lurkers are coming in from every single angle. And this is what I was talking about. Finally, Ryu has pushed back MasTER all the way back home, and now Ryu can be the aggressor. And there's no Storm. Storm is on the way, but he may just force a base trade. No, okay. MasTER, he comes back home. There we go. MasTER trying to come in from behind, but no, there are just so many lurkers. It's just not gonna work out, Buffy. He's trying to force his way in, and there's not a lot of buffer, so eventually he will get all these lurkers. Or will he? Oh god, it looks like it's just barely not enough. GG gets called. 18 probes went down as well. And the Mass Blink Stalker it just doesn't scale well. I feel like we all knew that, but I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe that maybe he could just like out micro his opponents and just like keep the Zerg at home and just keep counterattacking and keep dancing. But alas, it was not meant to be. GG, well played. Congratulations to Ryu for taking that series 2-0. Oof. Oh my god, that took a lot out of me. Not gonna lie. GG, well played. Congratulations, Ryu, for taking that series. The favorite in the series, to be fair, but I was a little bit worried there for a while. Like, the way that the Stalkers were able to kill bases and trade as efficiently as they were, unfortunately, MasTeR needed to get into something else though. Whether it was splash damage or sky toss, one or the other. They both work. They both work. But he had neither. He was trying to get into Storm, and Storm is okay against Hydras, not so much against Lurkers. Like, Storm is not really what you want. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations to our finalists, as the challenge page is going to be updated soon. Ooh. Meanwhile, it looks as if we are getting ready for our random raffle. You can see for a moment there, Beyond was the winner of our last raffle in Sparkling Tuna Cup, but here we go. It is time for the participation raffle of Sentimiento Latino.